Hey everybody, it's Nico.
And CK.
And that does in fact make this X is for Podcast, your premier media response show where we talk about everything comic related. And we are like bonkers off the walls excited today. We've been looking forward to this new game for a hot minute. This is X is for Podcast, X is for Show. And of course, we couldn't be doing this without the world's greatest producer. Hey, Kevo.
Hey, folks.
Now, we are playing DC Dark Legion today, and I saw this game pop up, and then I sent it over to TK. So we've been on it since the exact same second, and it's just I'm excited about the art more than anything. It finally being here, but like I've been playing it all day. TK, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I also have been playing it. I got up first thing this morning and played like for a while, and then had to go work and be a human being. And now I'm back in on it. So we're just gonna chill and play for a bit and build it up and talk about it. And we didn't really do a comics episode this week, but we'll spend some time talking comics because we can. We're just gonna kind of fuck around for a little while.
So, all right, I'm excited about this game. I'm here to play it. It's a little different because I think when I think about mobile games and comics, I really do kind of think about like fighting games. I think about punch 'em ups more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
But this does not have almost any fighting to it. This is like a pared back, kind of pared down strategy RPG in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
I want to start with the gameplay is, I remember when I started gaming, like, hey, I'm a gamer boy. And I played Final Fantasy VII, and then I played Final Fantasy VIII and Final Fantasy X. I kind of started them all in the same month. And the thing I realized was, you watch Final Fantasy X. And then I started 12. You watch Final Fantasy 12.
Yeah.
And then I started 13. You legitimately watch 13. It's exponential from there. I really did feel like by the time I got to Final Fantasy 15, I was facilitating the game executing.
Yeah, you're teaching the AI to play.
I feel like this is the mobile step before that in some ways.
Yeah. So this, of course, is pulling from multiple different game genres in a way that I actually think is very smart. I think, spoiler alert for the podcast, but hang out. I think what we're both ultimately going to tell you is that there's nothing wrong with the game. It's just maybe not the gameplay that we wanted or the game we were expecting or wanted to play. I think I maybe, for a specific reason, will continue to engage a little bit more than Nico, and that is because I really loved Fallout Shelter, the Fallout mobile game where you build a vault, and that is go for it.
I love that for you. Like truly, like that makes me really excited because I know I'm trying to find ways to play the Arkham Asylum ones.
Yeah,
there's a couple of Arkham Asylum mobiles that are retired,
cool.
And I just think it's really great that you have those.
I mean, and Fallout Shelter is still happening. I just got to a point where I didn't really care anymore. But the building where we are right now, what you guys can see on screen is Fallout Shelter. And so this is the first game that they cribbed. They cribbed Fallout Shelter. You are building your Batcave. You're building your Justice League Watchtower underground. So you can see here, we've got some power plants going. I really spent a while building myself up to War Room level 7 and just thought I was killing it in the game. And Nico casually messages me to tell me he is War Room level 21.
Oh, I'm not War Room level 21. That's what you need to be at to be able to switch servers.
Oh, girl. Okay. I was like, I'm fucking this game up completely. Okay, I feel a little less bad now.
Oh, no, absolutely. And like, I just want to be clear, like, you play games at your speed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%. And I was just like, wow, he took because I also saw some of your characters and I was like, oh, okay, we're a similar level. So he must have just gone on a different path than me to be at what I thought was War Room level. I was not actually like pressed about it. But I was actually kind of curious about what some of the things that you were doing were. But that makes a lot more sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm here to tell you that I'm the most special boy in the world, but I just want to say real quick, Andrew, it's not just all green. Rich got me an awesome St. Patrick's Day Hulk shirt, and it's like super classic 60s style Marvel art, which is that's my happiest Marvel art by far is 60s, 70s Marvel, that very draw it all back to JR, center of the body. So
a big part of this game is building up this war, this shelter. And again, like it's various types of rooms. If you played Fallout Shelter, it's so similar. It's various types of rooms. You've got a satisfaction meter here. Hold on, can I pull this? Yeah, there we go. Satisfaction meter here, where if you start to level some stuff up and don't upgrade all of the room types, it'll create disappointment amongst your people. You've also got, if we zoom out here, you're building structures so you can see in the distance in this artwork, this purple tower here, the Batman who laughs is in that tower fucking up the world, and you are going out. The story is that the members of the Justice League are going out rescuing humans and bringing them back to this safe area where they're at their base, and they are building these outposts for people to live in. So you are trying to upgrade your base. You're also trying to upgrade these structures around you. And then from there, you've got this map here, and you go on missions. You can do so. This is where we get into the few other game types that we've got going. One is like really auto, like literally here is a place to go to. I'm dispatching, some people, initiate, and then literally this is it. I will walk away from this one, and it's just going to report back to me in an amount of time. I don't even have that list right now, but it's just going to tell me in a little bit that I got rewards for that. I assume at some point that will get more difficult and it will have to be more strategic. But
yeah, because I haven't run out of anything yet.
Yeah, but for now, literally, I'm just going to wait to hear. Oh, it's 1 minute and 35 seconds. Yeah, so in 1.5 minutes, I will just hear back that I got some rewards for that. And I've got 3 more of these that I could do. I've also got this one-off Red Hood mission that I could go on that I'm going to upgrade my guys and maybe see if we can go on that, because I have already failed at that mission once. So there is a little bit of challenge here. The big other one that this is cribbing from, and this is funny because these games go in development years in advance to get here. And the industry talks, Marvel and DC talk, it is entirely possible that the two companies were aware of this, but the primary mode of gameplay is the same mode of gameplay as Marvel Mystic Mayhem, which coincidentally is going into another closed beta and is about to be out. But it is Auto Group Battler, go for it.
No, I love that. I love sitting back and watching my gameplay, because there's games that I want to play, and there's games I love watching.
Yeah. It's Auto Group Battler. So in this one, you've got fighter types, guardian types, ranged combat types, and healer types. So hold on, I'm going to pull up my list. So Batman, obviously, just a bruiser type. Green Arrow, obviously a range type. Wonder Woman, a guardian. I don't know if that's obvious or not, but here we are. And then Vixen and Mira being healers. I don't believe that is obvious or what you would think, but here we are. That's what they are. Some people have to be healers. It's always a stretch to make people healers. Sue Storm is not a healer. But
if Corey King can be #1 cameo queen in the world.
So you send these guys out on missions, and they group battle. I have lost one, and it is this Red Hood one that we're going to try again. That is out of probably getting into 4 or 5 dozen at this point, none of which even presented something resembling a challenge, all of which were on auto. So I will say, so far, when I was this many hours into Mystic Mayhem, I was having to be a little bit more strategic. I was losing a little bit more and having to really think about what to do. But I also didn't have base building. So Okay, and so here at the thing that I sent, the mission that I sent us off to, we get a little reward thing here, and then we get a bigger reward thing here. These are my rewards, and I can do a bunch of stuff with these. I also leveled up.
Yeah. Also, I just want to say, being a big dork, I'm actually playing MCOC in the background for a few minutes because
yes,
it's
I haven't
fun.
played it all this week. I need to get back on it.
Like the Loki challenges this week are incredible.
Yeah, I need
The
to get
amount
back
of stuff
on
you
it.
get, like so much level 6 ISO.
Oh yeah, I need to get back on it.
There's like daily login rewards. Oh, it's sick.
Yeah. And so there's just, there's a ton more modes. There's a lot of stuff to do. There's a lot of stuff that you can go to and click on and engage with. Even still, there is not a ton of gameplay. And I am hoping that you can see the strategy here.
Yeah.
It is not an uncommon one. And I spent $2 because I liked what they did. They offered me a thing for $2, and I do like to pay for games. I like to give developers money. I don't always like to give them $70 for a half-finished game that they're going to patch for the next 6 months. I will usually wait that to go on Steam sale. And it's funny because I was just talking to my partner, who is a huge Dragon Age person, and Veilguard is up on the Steam sale for $30. They're still not buying it because even that they feel is a lot, and they know how these games go, and they are just not interested in doing that. So they're waiting for it to go down to like 20. And here, Nico mentioned MCOC, a game that we love and play together, that we both spend, usually minimum $10 a month because they have a monthly subscription thing. And we both do that. And again, like, we want to support the developers. Nico especially has had incredible experiences. You can talk about that with the developers during COVID, and like, you've really seen these developers show their love for their community and their game.
Yes.
And so, we love that. We pay for we want to support financially people doing good things with their product, and people who are passionate about what they do, getting paid for it. So to me, unless this was a total disaster, I was absolutely going to give them $2 to $5 right off the bat, which is basically just me voting a little bit with my dollar. I think you guys are doing something cool. I don't see myself with this one necessarily going for the $10 monthly subscription pack like I do with MCOC. Maybe I've got to play more because I'm only 3 hours in.
I'll give anybody a battle pass. I'll give anybody a 1 month battle pass.
Yeah.
But just to point out, actually, where I actually feel the same as you, I might not go in all the way on this one. That right there, join a league.
Yeah.
First thing I did was I created a league. I have Justice League Dark as my league on 3 different DC games.
Yeah.
Because you can see the shelf behind me.
Yes.
And so I'm like the John Constantine guy. And so like it's my faves. And God, that Jim Gordon looks like John Constantine. Cracks me up every time.
Have you by the way, have you fought John Constantine yet?
Yeah.
I'm very annoyed that that's the one voice actor so far I have not liked. I'm very annoyed about that.
As a rule, and it's going to sound really lame, but I don't actually listen to the voice acting while I play the game. I go online and then I find videos of it because I think
that's reasonable, especially with a game like this. I don't have that same experience, but I think that's completely fair. It just, especially with a game like this, I'm almost always ignoring the voice lines during story, but the splash voice lines when people hit their ultimates, I always pay attention to. And that's the only time I saw Constantine, and you can immediately hear the person's not doing a British accent and is kind of just like, I don't know what he sounds like, but he doesn't even sound like a Keanu Reeves style John. It's just like a dude. I was bummed by that.
Oh, and I don't blame you. But so with the leagues, you get assigned a server when you sign up. Jonah and I signed up I signed up like a month and a half ago, but Jonah and I activated our games minutes apart. And by the way, did you get all of your like pre-register stuff?
Yes.
How do you get it?
Well, I ended up getting it. I think we did get a bunch of it, but the real gift pack that I was supposed to get, I got because from this being on PC. When I logged in on the PC, there was like it has like a loading program, and in that there was a gift box and it gave me a code, and that code was the one. I still haven't received any emails from the game
because I don't have my Batman.
Yeah. Although I feel like I got this Batman another way, but maybe I'm wrong.
Like I didn't get any of my pre-reg bonuses.
Yeah, download it for PC.
Okay.
And log in. It can take a couple of login and log out. Download it for your PC and then sign in with your email address, the email address associated with the account that you're playing on your phone.
Okay.
And there should be a gift box waiting for you. It just has a code. When you paste that in, it goes to your account. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like, even there's little things like that these games are not perfect when they come out.
No, and it's not like the end of the world, but like
no, but we were pretty hyped about that particular aspect of things.
Yeah, I look forward to getting the cool character that I come to these games to play the characters.
Yeah.
I don't come because I'm excited about a mobile mini game collection. I come because, oh, cool, I get to be Hal Jordan. I get to make him cool finally. I will say getting Red Hood pretty early on,
I was pretty stoked about that, especially because I didn't want my only ranged fighter to be this asshole.
I as a guy whose brother is Red Hood, pretty big fan, so I was really glad to get him early on.
Yeah, I was happy to see him there. I was also happy. Again, the voice actor doing Catwoman is cunt as fuck. I love her.
Oh, okay. So
yeah.
Earlier today, serving the official entry for Malta.
Yeah,
it just had to change its name.
It's just now served. That's why you said serving. It's now serving. It's not serving cunt.
It's now just serving.
Guys, so we are big Eurovision fans here, and immediately a song that stood out that we were talking about was Malta's "Serving Cunt," and cunt is spelled K-A-N-T and is a word in their language. And honestly, early on, it was one of the only like really notably like bangers.
Yeah.
And it seemed like they were going to have to withdraw because it was offensive. And I guess, according to my boy here, it's back on just as serving, so we're stoked about that. So yeah, I'm upgrading my guys right now. Y'all can see I evolved one of them. This little like
evolved
here.
Digivolved.
Yeah, exactly. We've got a lot of mechanics going on here, and again, like a lot of mechanics. But I'm telling you, I'm hours in, and they don't super feel like they are the most important things ever. There's also so many of them they can't be. You couldn't keep all this stuff in your head, but as you play, you get these little stone shards of each character, and when you hit a critical amount of them, you can evolve them. Other than that, you can also level them, and at certain points, as you upgrade the underground shelter, you can raise that level cap. So that's what we're doing here. We're getting everybody going so we can do that Red Hood fight again.
Andrew, I just want to say, I don't know that I believe that the entirety of the artistic and people looking for hope of an entire nation should be held accountable for the actions of their government when they are loudly not always in support of that. I feel like that's really starting to cross lines into some people's art is less important because their governments have made bad choices. And that just sort of literally takes away the power from anybody reclaiming that, because then they become the silent minority that suffers off in the distance. And then it's just a shadow of a person. And that really does disconnect the ability to fight from the people fighting.
Well said.
Comes up in this house a bit.
Yeah. Gonna do a quick little fight here because I want to see if I can get some more upgrades. So again, you can auto who is going to fight. The game will select for you. In this case, it's swapped out Catwoman for one of my healers because this is going to be, I think, a pretty easy fight, and I'm not going to need a healer. And then you fight, and you can put this all on auto too. And then you just kind of sit back. You don't have to do it this way. You can. When it's not on auto, you're basically just setting when people do their ultimates. But this is a lot of the gameplay. Yeah, this is a lot of the fighting, and you can do this against this has PvP, so you can do this against other players. I do think that's going to be one of the places where this game gets good. On the one hand, I've tried a little bit of it and I have lost every time. So again, challenge there, and I'm building everybody up so I can fight again. On the other hand, this is always where I get a little weird with mobile games, because like I still haven't played that many friends in Pokemon Go TCG. And I want to play these games in community a little.
I literally hand Jonah my phone and say, make my decks.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you've got a card battling genius in your roster, and I love that for you. I just get my ass handed to me every time in Pokemon Go or Pokemon TCG. But that's fine. But also, like, I want to play with people that I know, and like we could talk about it, and like, you know, strategize, and you know, I would love to play against Jonah and get tips when it comes to TCG, because I know he would just flatten me. That's like almost even like I'm just asking for instruction from a friend. But like, as cool as the PvP for this is right now, unless hey guys, come play with us. Nico's the only person I'm going to play this with. Maybe Jonah.
No,
but
I can't play it together. We're on different servers.
Right. Well, yeah, and then there's that. I mean, so now I've got to start a new character on a new server and do all this work again to go do that. Or, you know, we're all building up towards level 21 so we can be on the same server, which is cute and fun and cool. But in the meantime, am I just kind of missing out on all the PvP stuff? Kind of.
Well, because it's not even that then you'll be able to be on the same server. You can't ever switch your server. You can create an additional character on another server.
Oh, do you still have to be level 21 for that? I thought you could do that instantly.
Can you?
Hold on. I love this song, Nico.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm really proud of this. The whole collection is making its way to YouTube and SoundCloud. Elevator Ride, by the way, anybody who's wondering, this is, you're going to all just think I'm an idiot, but this is the EDM track that Nick and Jay would listen to as they were driving in an EDM Gatsby.
I love that. What's your server?
Oh shit. You
don't have to rush.
No, I have to rush. I want to play with you.
I think you're 219. I think I saw that.
Don't you love when obsessive gay boys are just like, excuse me, play with me.
I mean, yes, I do.
229.
229. See, I was close. Okay. Yeah, create a new character on Earth 229.
I don't want to be a bad person, but I'll boot somebody right out of my guild right because I hit 40 in an hour.
Did you really? That's
my
funny.
league is maxed because it's called Justice League Dark.
Right, of course.
I'm not going to let there be somebody who acts like they're a bigger John Constantine fan than me on the internet. Are you kidding me? I might not be the biggest John Constantine fan, but I'm going to act like it. John would be impressed. And then he would sacrifice me to get ahead.
What's a DC name for me?
Ooh, you could use Onieros.
Oh, Oniros? I like that.
That's how you say it?
Yeah.
I believe you because my linguistic skills are about as multinational as International House of Coffees. So.
Yeah, I like that. We're going to go with that. It's funny. I was thinking Morpheus and then I did not do that.
I keep Orpheus by David Sylvan in my head 24/7. The promise that my Orpheus sings. Oh my gosh, so many people are adding me as friends from my little guild. I gotta be honest, one guy, I know he didn't mean it, but his name is Batsai, and so he's going to literally get whatever he wants. I'm gonna make him deputy in the guild. Like, I don't care. It's what I'm simple. Do you have to play the whole thing over now?
That's what I'm saying, yeah. So I want to know what happens at level 21.
The fagatrocity of this. Do you lose all of your characters? Because then I would have just started a new. I would have immediately migrated
I
the
know
bars
that's
and
if I had
clubs.
known, I would not have played. Yeah,
We might-
yeah. So I'm going back to my old one in a second. Also, I can't do that right now because it's not giving. I'm locked into just going through a bunch of this.
Bum bum bum. Yeah, I am really proud of this song.
Yeah, you should be.
I'm proud of the whole thing, the whole project. It's because I'm the biggest. The whole project
you
is
covered
called
your mouth,
Eclipso.
So you have to say that all over again.
Because
proud
I'm
of
the
this
biggest
project,
Green
'cause why?
Lantern fan. The whole thing is called Eclipso.
Mhm.
And it's about, the whole thing is me exploring duality in music. There's a song that's You and Me, which is super fun. There's
Love
a
that.
song that's me and Kevo. There's a
Love
song
that.
that's me and Tori. There's a lot of tracks on here, and I'll promise you, the one that's You and Me is really positive. It's literally high energy. It's literally
I did not think it was gonna be like fuck this guy.
no. I mean, literally, I hope you stay happy. So like, it's as positive as it can possibly be, because I can't say anything without sounding a little weird. So like, it was one of those song titles that I felt really positive about. But yeah, and then there's a record of fictional duos, and then there's a record of me imagining people who have never met, had they met, what they would talk about.
I love that.
I don't know. I feel like a long time ago, Studio One made the decision to empower people like me. It was a terrible choice. Game is the attention to things that I think are really cool and really important. For instance, I want to give huge credit to the fact that the unit of item acquisition is mother boxing.
Yeah.
You could not have made me happier unless you found out that the AI is all called Amazos. I mean, mother boxes, are you kidding me?
It is kind of a bummer that you get a bunch of cops as playable characters. I want to throw that out there, guys.
Okay, but they're all hot like traders players.
They are all very hot cops. They do. It's a little bit pointy, which is also funny because the Juggalos are not the least bit hot. Yeah, those are your two options for like just not DC specific characters. It's either cops or Juggalos. They call them Jokers with a Z, but they are Juggalos. And it's really funny. I've been upgrading all of my Juggalos. I do not upgrade the cops. This is just where we are.
I want to just add to that if you want to talk about a real Juggalo hanging out with cops, Neil Blomkamp is making a Starship Troopers remake.
That he says is going to be faithful to the book.
What? No, that's already called Aliens. You stop that.
I don't. I have so many questions. Yeah, I don't know that we needed that. We had a perfect Starship Troopers adaptation, and we didn't need another one.
Do you actually really feel positive on the one with that dude whose name is
Casper Van Dien?
Thank you. I gotta say his name is 3 words.
From the Space Marines.
Space Marines.
Remember that?
We should do a podcast.
I actually really do. I think that it is a 90s genre of movie where they seem so much worse than they are. And they're all actually really intelligent and really satirical. I do think it's a really good movie. I think there's a lot about it that is obviously clearly bad.
Well, I mean, obviously your favorite is Neil Patrick Harris.
Honestly, yes. That is the last time I think I liked him. Dr. Horrible, but now that reflects badly. I think the last time I liked him was Starship Troopers. Casper Van Dien is a really bad actor, but and so is Denise Richards, but the characters are kind of played as the world sees them as hot cannon fodder.
Is this an ice cream cone?
She's so good in Real Housewives. She needs to go on Traders. She will get kicked out immediately.
I feel like people will be like, "No, you get 3 weeks. You were married to Charlie Sheen. You get 3
that's
weeks.
true.
It's
They're
called
like, you
hazard pay."
hang out and have some boiled eggs with us. You deserve it.
I love how many people from season 2 of The Traitors were like, "We're not here to judge season 3 of The Traitors. We're here to enjoy it as fans." And then 3 weeks in, we're like, "You're all idiots.
Yep.
You can't play well." And just one more time, I just want to give it up to the love of my life for making it more than anyone's made it in an American season as a traitor.
Yeah, explain that. Who did what? What's the measurement here, and who did it?
Danielle did 8 weeks as a traitor.
I see. Yeah. Man, though, gave it all up for that because her reputation is shot right
for
now.
life. Yeah, her and Boston Rob will never play a competitive game the way they did before this ever again.
Which seems a little silly to me because I don't hate Danielle after it. Like, I don't know. The reaction that people are having is very weird to me. Like, I do think that hat is really ugly and stupid, but I think there's other things that are great. And I think the acting when they kicked Carolyn out was amazing. I think that was incredible. I don't think we talked enough about that. I think there should be an award for that. That was, Nicole Kidman could not do that if you asked her to.
Heartbreak feels good at a table like this.
Truly, there are a lot of ways in which she is a very chaotic person, and I think she stumbled into week 8. I do not think she was a mastermind to week 8, but yeah, she got some real hate that I don't super get. Also, can we just talk about like the random times the game will be like, hey, somebody wants to talk to you, and it's just the silliest voice lines ever. Also, why is Killer Crocs in this game so early?
And I just want to say, like, I'm not a scaly, but I appreciate that Killer Croc was given a physicality instead of an animality. Like, he looks like a dude you would
assuming you did want to fuck some kind of reptile, they gave you what you wanted. And if you don't want to, he's just a guy that's there. And that's really the most you can ask for in this world.
Yeah, if you don't want to fuck a reptile, you're fine. You don't have to apologize to anybody.
Yeah. But they made sure that for people who want to, there's an option, and it's this guy.
It is not just this guy. He is here for you throughout the game. He pops up here and there. I will say, just to hop back to the game for a minute, one of the things that I am maybe a little bit less enamored of was something that Jonah pointed out early on. He was really disappointed in, hey, you know what? I see Andrew saying no interest in fucking a reptile, but I don't know. Robbie Sinclair kind of had it going on. And Jonah pointed out that there was no Supergirl in this. And so...
Is there just point blank period no Supergirl in this?
Yeah.
Oh.
But I assume she will be part of a later release. I assume
they're going to put up new characters. Of course they are. That's going to be part of the fun of the game.
Yeah, and so I really do hope that they didn't lead with kind of the wrong characters, because something that I think we can use as a barometer of where the interest lies for fandom is the Absolute Universe's launch. I feel like seeing that Joe is a member of the Absolute Green Lantern launch should indicate to us that that's a place where a lot of people look for that kind of thing. Oh, I just got Black Adam, my twin.
Oh, nice. All right, so I barely made it through that double Deathstroke fight that I had lost previously, having upgraded a lot of my characters. So that's fun. Like I said, even if this is an auto battler, I do need there to be a little bit of strategy.
Yeah,
and I do want to lose, and I do want to have to try again. Like I said, that was something that I really liked about Mystic Mayhem. Even though they gave you a lot of really fast upgrades and you could just destroy some of the fights early on, it got to a point pretty quickly where you could lose. And you also, I appreciate when a game, and this one is doing it as well, because that Deathstroke fight was entirely ancillary. And in plot fights, I'm vastly overpowered. But I like when a game puts the boundaries on the outskirts of play. So if you want a really full experience, if you want to get all of the levels, if you want to do all the side quests, some of those might early on be where you face challenges and you need to really level up in order to get it. But if you're just trying to like hammer through plot, those won't necessarily be as difficult, so that people don't feel left out, so that people don't feel stymied.
Especially early on.
Yeah, I think that is a smart way to make games. Are we? Oh no, I gotta upgrade Wayne Steel to level 5, and then we're gonna upgrade our War Room one more time. We gotta do these War Room upgrades because I can't do all this again with another character. I can't get those 3 hours back. So if I'm gonna hop over to the same server with Nico, I got 8 13. I got 13 levels to get to 21.
Yeah.
So we got work to do.
And hopefully that's what I saw and I didn't misunderstand it, because I'll just be so disappointed if I don't get to play with my guys.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I will absolutely just move over if I have to. And I will, I'll get sick or something one day in the next few weeks and just crank those 3 hours out and do it. But
I remember when I would stay homesick, I would often just crank it all day.
That's, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. In the meantime, we're upgrading Wayne Steel so that we can upgrade our thing. And ostensibly, okay, so hold on. Before we talk about comics, did you listen to Chapel's new single?
No.
I really like it.
I did not. I had I work
you worked all day. You didn't do fun things until 3.
Yeah, no. Sometimes corporate life is a little frustrating. It pays for cute things, but it's exhausting.
So it's a country song. I think it's a very cute country song. It's closer to Shania. And
got a shimmy shake, make the earthquake, stomp stomp, and do-si-do.
There you go. I also think if I were Lizzo, I would have put out the single that she put out today instead of
Raising Hell.
Still Bad was today.
Still Bad. Thank you. Yeah.
And Raising Hell was the previous one, right?
Yeah.
It just you can tell something is up because the first single was only out for 2 weeks before she put out another one.
Well, the videos are connected, which at least makes me think they're meant to be close together.
Yeah, I guess so. That's true. But I think the first one, I just think, I don't know. It's the style that she's aping is such a weak style anyway, in a cute way, but it's one of Blink 182's less popular, maybe a fun one on the album, but it's that style of song. And this one just sounds like a very vintage Lizzo, turn the pain into champagne. That's cute. It's all just let's go to Vegas and be bad bitches. Very cute, very fun. Go for it. And then Coheed and Cambria's album came out today and it's perfect. So I'm happy. Yeah, I mean, yes, it's so hard to get into it or argue for them because their last 3 albums have been basically the exact same in a way that I think somebody of discerning musical taste who also doesn't just want to love this band regardless of anything and just want to excuse everything they do. Somebody with an objective opinion might be okay, that's great that you guys can make this album, and you did make this album, so you didn't need to make it a second time, but you did, and here we are, and you absolutely didn't need to make it a third time. I personally am okay with it. Because it walks a very fine line because their albums are, they are space opera. They are storyline wise referencing themselves. They are, each album is referencing all of the other ones. And then musically they do it too. So, you will get moments there are musical cues. There are reprises and, you will return to the same themes over and over again. It's actually very beautiful. But then there are a lot of ways where you're okay, we're getting the pop punk single. We're getting the hard metal single that goes into the next song, which is also a hard metal song. We're getting the orchestrated number, and there's some things that you can really expect to get on each album, and then you do get them, and it walks that fine line between like, okay, this is all really well-worn territory, and also just like she give it to you every season. So I'm very happy with it. There are storyline wise, there are some really fantastic developments that I'm excited to delve into. In the last album, they brought a character back to life who's like a foundational character to the entire universe that they're building. And so that character being back in the album and back in the story is really interesting. And you can see they're kind of building up to whatever the end of this might be. And I think that's really cool.
I really do love that because I feel like I kind of am a storyteller, I have characters that have appeared in my songs since I was in high school, and different iterations of me have done a trillion different shows, and I feel like whether it's Tori Amos, Nicki Minaj, My Chem, or Coheed, you're talking about actual character narratives where these artists truly do know the trajectory of this storyline. You have something.
Which, to tie into comics a little bit, did you see that Janelle Monáe announced an Arcandroid comic at BlurredCon?
No, I missed that.
Yeah. So, Arcandroid is her epic opera. That's her first 3 or 4 albums about Cindy Mayweather, the android, and she's finally doing, they're publishing a graphic novel, and they did 1,200 floppies at BlurredCon, and it looks really cool and great, and I'm very excited for her, and really excited to see this story, because again, it's kind of like Coheed, where it's like, for years with them, we were all just kind of sharing lyrics online and doing our best guess. And sometimes Claudio would explain like, oh yeah, this is what's going on with the character in that song, and this is the story. And sometimes he wouldn't, and you would, just go by the lyrics and you would have it totally off. That's the same thing has happened with Janelle Monáe, where she has explained who Cindy Mayweather is and what the basic plot of Cindy's life has been. But then there are a lot of things where it's like, is this just, is Prime Time her duet with Miguel? Is that a Cindy Mayweather moment, or is that just the two of them doing a pop song? Like, you kind of don't know. It's kind of both. It might be neither. And when the comic comes out, you really do get some clarity on that stuff, and you get to kind of focus the story. So I was pretty stoked to see that that's happening.
And it's interesting. We did, I think, 4 or 5 BlurredCons, and had such an incredible experience at so many of them. It is such an incredible experience to get to be a part of, because they make it very clear that Blurred, while focusing on the Black nerd experience, is an inclusive term that has room for everyone. We are friendly with the creator, who actually used to sign my vouch for this guy to be a press credential stuff all the time. Really, what a wonderful thing to hear that Janelle Monáe gets to continue this legacy of excellence through. And it's really tough for me because I am working on a show right now with collaborator and best friend Tori, and we're working on this particularly unique show that I'm trying to get out the door for this summer. And one of the things that I am faced with a little more than usual is that in my head, characters are characters, and I want to hear somebody do a version of a song that I've written that's totally different than my expectation. And in that same regard, I kind of feel like that's a little bit what this game is doing. This is not what, Scott Snyder had in mind with the Batman Who Laughs, but, this is taking that idea and pushing it somewhere really cool. And I would do a narrative musician podcast in an instant, because even the people who don't have a narrative have a narrative. Janet Jackson has Lonely on Rhythm Nation, and I Get Lonely on Velvet Rope. She has Let's Wait a While on Control, and then Someday Is Tonight on Rhythm Nation, which is We Shouldn't Have Sex, We're Too Young. And then she releases an album 3 years later, I Am Ready to Be a Woman. Like, there are intentionalities across records, even when it isn't a character. And I would do this in an instant and start with Coheed without question, and then move into Mariah Carey and explore Memoirs of an Imperfect Angel, which was a record she did that was a specific point of view, that her whole thing was the way she sees the world is different than the way her collaborators see the world. So it was going to get a follow-up album that was track for track the album, but every track was a duet remix. And so some of them are note for note the same, and it's just Nicki Minaj doing Up Out My Face and having the Cheatin' with the Deacon rap that references the opening track, which is the unfortunately R. Kelly remix of Bet You Gonna Know. And it builds out this story. And so then like the T-Pain remix of, I can't remember which track it is at this point, but like Ribbon, maybe, like you get to this point where the remixes are so different than the originals. It tells such a story, and like I actually think that is what comics, movies, iterative versions of Romeo and Juliet have given us with music. Because like my version of Tori Amos's Scarlet's Walk would be this big sweeping Broadway epic that would tie in a couple of tracks from the other works around it. It's not Tori's. Andrew, you should really hear my version of Welcome Home. I just want to be clear that it is one of those really, my voice does some weird things in that.
By Coheed?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That used to be one of my Close the Karaoke Bar numbers.
I was going to say that it's right in your range. You and Claudia, like, you don't use your voice like he does, but you can sing exactly where he sings. Yeah, that's actually, I would not have thought about that. And then it doesn't surprise me at all when you say it.
It's one of my 3 I've made money on that karaoke performance songs.
Yeah,
I've
that
made
doesn't
money on
surprise
that
me.
performance 3 times.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of my like,
me
that's one of my busted outs. That was the song after which somebody told me I sound like a young Jim Croce.
I see it.
Yeah, that night was, I did Jason Mraz's You and I Both to open, and then made it to the second round, and then I won that night with Welcome Home.
I love it. I totally see that 100%.
It was $250, so I don't mind it.
Yeah.
No, I miss competitive karaoke. It was always, karaoke really is the heart of what we're talking about with this game, with comics, and with this music. I'm not trying to like just bring it back to this. We're having a great time talking about whatever.
Yeah, no, we're just going all over the place.
When you're talking about like, Tori Amos's Little Earthquakes getting adapted into the Little Earthquakes comic, all of the songs that got adapted into Comic Book Tattoo, I think about the fact that I do feel that Jonathan Hickman did kind of paint some of the Arakokoa storyline in his Comic Book Tattoo story about 2
Yeah, you're 100% right.
Yeah. And now he's got this Imperial thing coming up.
Yeah.
I will say this, honestly. When Civil War was coming out, it was the most exciting thing in the world. Like, I worked at a comic shop. It was really exciting. And when World War Hulk came out, it was not exciting. And looking back, they're talking about one of the storylines in Imperial is that the great families of Marvel godhood will fall, and we will get new kings and queens. And one of those kings is going to be the Hulk family, which, yeah, you know what? The Hulks are god level like Shi'ar early gods. Like, really? And so I love this idea that we're going to get this reworking. I believe this will be one that we look back on in 10 years and go, man, you didn't execute it well. But Kevo, what did we just... Kevo, please pop on for a moment if you don't mind. We just watched Section 31.
Yeah.
I will forever love the idea of Section 31 30 times more than the actual film.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that I didn't love the film. It just means when I think about what the film meant, I will feel more positive than the actual watch.
And I think it's one of those things too where sometimes it is specifically a dearth of content that makes people react negatively to something not being the greatest. I don't think it was amazing. I think there are a ton of ways it could have been salvaged a little bit better. I would watch it again and I would still love more. But I think people are reacting most strongly to it because we still don't have a release date for Strange New Worlds Season 3, I don't think. We saw the cast, the promotional photos recently, but that's it. There was no date attached that I remember. And Starfleet beyond that, anything else beyond that, and I think that's what people react to more than anything. If we knew there was more stuff coming, but
I mean,
like
they're slow pressing Starfleet. I mean, Tatiana Maslany has been doing like a micro press tour for Starfleet Academy, and those posters just came out. They have to have some kind of longer term strategy in terms of they have. I mean, like they're now shooting the 4th season of Strange New Worlds, so that it's coming, and Starfleet Academy is also mostly finished and coming. But the fact that they're not giving us dates or anything is sort of awkward in this climate that we're in, especially because Section 31 did not end up being the sort of flagship tentpole. This can sustain us like an Avengers movie until the next single. It's kind of the opposite for Star Trek.
It wasn't even a Werewolf by Night.
Yeah, it really wasn't.
No.
But they've cleared. I mean, they have a bunch of really important content. Plus, we're closer than ever to Kate Mulgrew being back in the mix. I mean, they are a crock pot. They are never boiling, but it is never turned off and it's never losing heat. And it's increasingly becoming antithetical to how everybody else works. But I guess Star Trek can't really work any other way because those fucking Abrams movies never worked, and I don't think trying to recreate them is ever the move.
Real quick, Kevo, while you're here, Kevo, just so you are clear, the thing I was talking about a minute ago, one of the things that I say the most that is a meme, I quite often go, now get in the ground. That is
in the ground.
It is because
Yeah,
I sing Welcome Home at least once a week. It's one of my songs of personal power. It's like up there with Space Dog in terms of how much strength I gain. The O's at the end.
Don't generally like this band. That's so crazy to me.
I actually generally really enjoy singing Coheed music.
Yeah,
it's just like,
but you're not invested in the rest of it. None of this is me admonishing you. It's
you are so nice. Both of you are so nice about Mariah Carey being basically the god that the Gringotts goblins worship, and you guys are just so nice about it. And
well, the thing is, like, I feel like I had a bigger love affair with Mariah Carey before Emancipation of Mimi than you have ever had with Coheed.
So like correct, though.
Yeah,
I will be honest. Until Mariah Carey earns you, I think, a grand total of $375 across 3 wins.
Well, yeah. So I mean, there's kind of a difference in how we've experienced each other's faves, but like, I have very distinct memories of when getting Butterfly from Sam Goody at the mall, and I don't believe that you have any memory of picking up a Coheed album. But yeah, on the alternate side of things, you've won money singing a Coheed song, like you, and it's a song that you love. So like, we just experience these things differently. And like I said, I'm in no way admonishing you.
No, I don't feel admonished. I feel
good, because in some ways it's just the vibe is the vibe, and when it's not that, it's not that. It's just funny to me because it is such intricate musicianship. Even if it's not good, the effort is there. And he's a comic writer who just like can't stop writing like space opera, like literal space opera. So anyway, it's just funny to me.
One of the things that I love the most about you kind of exchanging with that is the other day. So again, Tori Sheehan, my
queen,
my best friend, this person that I write with every single day of my life.
My childhood classmate, Tori Sheehan, yeah.
Yeah, whether she's in the room or not, everything I write runs through the how does Tori feel about the thing I'm creating filter every single day of my life. And I wrote a collection of music and I sent it to her. And one of the things she said recently in response was, it's sometimes hard for me because I'm not like a big R&B listener regularly. And I was like, oh my God, is my music that R&B influenced? And like, obviously it is, but like when that's what you see yourself as, I see myself as a singer-songwriter, and the closest to R&B I will ever give myself credit for is Brian McKnight's acoustic shit. And like, so I fuck you for laughing.
I'm laughing because immediately whenever anybody says singer-songwriter now, I go to Angie Jordan saying singer-song-reader. Catchphrase coiner. I'll take that with cheese.
Ham.
I read the news. So
You read the news.
Although evidently I will not be on a show with Daniel Radcliffe, so I'm not that cool.
Yeah, I'm in.
I'm dubious, but I'll get there.
You know, I recently found out. Okay, I made a joke, and I'm going to say it on air. I made a joke casually while doing 65-pound per chest pec rope-based flies. I casually said, Shea Coulee is 50. And everyone descended on me like a rabid animal.
It's not exactly the story, Ellen, but it's close enough.
Turns out she's younger than me, and I'm a horrible person. And
but almost as important, her birthday.
The thing that I am sort of reflecting from that is we sometimes do make kind of like barbed jokes as we're flying. And I think that the nature of how we react to things before we've seen them, before we've engaged with them, is sometimes a little tricky. And I'm coming to this program assuming, and this is actually why I thought Shea Coulee had to be a bit older and looked phenomenal, is because they refer to her as one of the most foremost legends of her area and her style of drag by the time she starts on the show a decade ago.
Can I liken this to a reaction you had before we started our drag race journey?
If I can just, please take it from here. And so I think sometimes the terminology you apply to something in advance colors your expectations of it. Hearing that it's another Tina Fey connecting with somebody she used to work with, I feel a way already.
I think in relation to that, how you reacted to the catchphrase for a while, she bring it to you every ball, about a character who had just been introduced 2 panels ago. And I think what you're describing is kind of in many ways exactly the same thing, where the hyperbolic language is such a part of, general fandom, let alone this in specific, that you'll be told someone's a legend like from 2 years ago. And you're like, wait, what? How are they a legend? I'm on the ground floor of that, basically. I forget sometimes that I was basically on the ground floor of Buffy because I started in the middle of season 2.
Oh,
that's not that far into the show.
The sub-basement.
That's not even, I think, 24 full episodes. And so, you forget these things. To do the thing we always do, which is like in our conversation to what we're watching on TV right now, we just started Will and Grace with Jonah. And how right away some of the jokes from the show was really shocking. And you're kind of like, how is there 200 plus episodes after this of jokes. It's just going to be the same thing over and over again. But it is.
And so I feel like, sometimes with things like this new sitcom from Tina Fey featuring Tracy Morgan, I am kind of coming to it feeling like I've already seen this. What is she going to offer me? Because I saw great news, which was 30 Rock the same way that Newsroom was West Wing. I saw Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, that at times I felt like the way Kimmy Schmidt felt in that bunker was how I felt watching Studio 60. If this is what life is, it's not that bad, but this can't be all there is, right? And
Kimmy Schmidt probably should have been a cartoon on Adult Swim, but anyway.
And I also think that Kimmy Schmidt is, now that you've said that, this is the stuff that's so fucking stupid, but I would personally be thrilled to be part of making her like Richard Munch and having her run through 100 shows as a detective. Richard Munch is the what's his name? Robert Belzer, or is it Richard? It's Richard Belzer. It's Richard Belzer character on Law and Order and Homicide and Sesame Street and The X-Files and
Arrested Development.
He actually appeared on non-English speaking shows and holds the record for the most shows for a single character. Sometimes I think about the world according to Dick Wolf and Tom Fontana, and I actually wonder, like, every now and then people are like, the world is violent because of gangster rap. And I'm like, you're a fucking moron. The world is violent because Tom Fontana taught me that it's fine to get whatever you want as long as you're Chris Maloney and your dick looks like that. So, like, I feel like the world according to Tom Fontana is the problem, even though it's the perfect world. Thank you, sir.
And Andrew, this is even what I mean. You say, I love when Jack thinks he can outshare Cher. The episode where he actually does it with Cher isn't until season 3 or something. But him doing the Cher impression is like the second, third, fourth episode. It is so early that it was really surprising that so many of the things that the show is known for is right up front.
I just want to say that I saw that TK's group chat is talking about like actual accurate.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where this group chat is coming from. So I applied to join a guild or a league, and I didn't get any confirmation that I did.
I had. You probably joined a join open league. Whereas
no, I made. I had to apply, and I was still waiting to hear back. So this is just World Chat. I don't know why this is on all of a sudden.
Can I tell you that like I literally allowed people in by how cool I thought their username was, and
that's all you can do.
Add Jonah already. Get another gift.
Oh, good call. Is it Peak Jonah?
No, it's Chamber.
Okay. Hold on.
He loves being Jono.
Okay.
One of the things that I think is really cool is like when you come to a character, like I'll be honest, like part of what made me think that TK was
there's a couple. Do you know which one is Jonah?
Yeah, let me look it up. One of the things that I knew that would tell me that TK was going to be my brother for life, my my partner in so many things, was that we had a shared love of a really absurd, silly character. And like, there's something about when you can connect with a character simply for some visual reason, and that Jonah feels kind of fulfilled by Chamber coming from the 90s, being named Jono. Like, that's really cool. None of those are. Oh no, the third one. No. Top one.
This one?
That's him. Yep. Gotham PD.
Cool. Okay, so yeah, he just joined the. Okay, cool. I should just do what Jonah does.
Yeah, and that was the thing. I was so excited. I created my guild so that I could hang out with my guys, and then immediately I couldn't.
Fucked us over. I know that was like half of what I was, because I was also excited because since we were all going to start on the same day, we could battle together a little bit, and it wouldn't be like, for one thing, MCOC doesn't have that kind of PvP in the first place, like where Nico and I can find each other in battle.
We can, but it's practice mode only.
Right.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, I mean, I figured like with this, we would just be able to like futz around and we'd be at essentially the same level. So it wouldn't be a huge deal. And yeah, lo and behold, we're gonna look into this. All right. So I'm just going to stop this and join GCPD. Just get it over. All right, Jim, calm down. Gary Oldman ass.
He's dead, Jim.
Yeah, no, some of these people have such cool names. Like, oh, can I just tell you one of the things that blew my mind, not to be totally random, but like the 90s partially built music stuff based on how cool things sounded, even if it wasn't accurate, which is why none of the guys in Tony are named Tony. But did you know that when she tragically left us, when we lost the woman who gave us Brother, which, I mean, come on. Like, I feel like there should be an entire episode of Abbott Elementary dedicated to how good Brother is as a song. When Angie Stone left us, she was 63 years old.
Yeah.
Oh my God, she has always looked 30.
Yeah.
Wow. Just really, and I brought that up because we tragically lost one of the members of Tony this week as well. It's just been a bummer. But it's always funny because like I'm not here to kind of like gauge anything, but something that like we don't ever really consider is that musicians faded into obscurity. And like so first of all, my parents are loving Brian Wilson in a world of hair metal. They are a unique kind of cool that is a current that cuts through the bullshit. And they love going on their 60s cruise. It is their thing. It is their, if my parents were Green Lanterns, that is their power battery. They're stronger the next day. And they have a few things like that. They got batteries hidden everywhere. They're just, full on Jon Stewart. And so one of the things that I love for them is that they grew up in an era where when artists faded into obscurity, if you didn't live where they lived, you never saw them again because you didn't happen to live by the hot air balloon festival that they performed at. And my parents are people like TK, you said earlier that you put your money where it matters and you want to support games to reward 4, 6, 8 years of game development. My parents want to thank these people for 40, 50 years of music, of love, of celebration, of joy. And like they faded into obscurity until things like these cruises made them cool and made them possible and made this opportunity to re-engage with the things you love, not just possible, but able. Because like possible means it could happen, but that it's able to happen. Something I think about a lot is how many comic creators just were gone. If you made comics in the 60s and 70s, in the 90s, we were lucky if we found your obituary. And now we are entering an age where, like, first of all, Jeff Loeb is not the guy who needs it. The guy who created Teen Wolf, the guy who has been head of a network is a multimillionaire, I'm assuming. I'm not trying to count his pennies, but I mean...
Even the creator of Second Teen Wolf is a multimillionaire.
And the guy gave me one of the most important religious terms in my life. So like I know he said some really gross things that make it really hard for me to still hold him in that regard. But Jeff Loeb gave me the word Ascani, which gave me like a purpose. And like it helped me in a very ugly time in my life. And you think about the way that these sorts of properties grow and they evolve. And you think about the sorts of things we come back to. And to bring it back, Jeff Loeb created X-Man, this character that is the reason TK and I are friends. And it's iterative joy because okay, Rich and I had a dude date the other day and we're running errands and we're going to Home Depot. Gay dudes, what are we going to do? And so we go to Home Depot and I'm like in charge of the radio because I'm driving. And when he's in charge of the radio, he picks his music, and I picked Big Mountain's cover of Ooh Baby, I Love Your Way because I have excellent taste. And so then we went to an Ollie's.
I forgot I wasn't on screen for a second. Oh my God.
So we go to an Ollie's, And when we get into the ollies, it's that unbelievable 80s cover of Ooh Baby I Love Your Way and Freebird mashed up for no reason. And we're like, holy shit, we literally left the car and this song was on. And now we're in this store. And it used to be that if my parents loved a song like that, that was where they got to hear it again. Musacked or transformed in some way. And now they get to go see those artists perform those songs. And I don't always assume that the comic artists that we love so much from 1978 are the ones drawing the super cool iteration of Ghost Rider in a game like this. But knowing that Ann Nesenti, Annie, has been doing this shit since the late 70s, and she is still the 4 hallmark on some of these characters today, I kind of feel like it really is a whole picture, because I know that I was trying to do what Coheed was doing before Coheed was famous for doing it, when they were also trying to do it before anybody else was getting credit for it. And I don't think they're better than me. I don't think I'm better than them. I think everybody gets a path. Everybody gets a journey. And I'm excited to get music into a little bit more of a narrative form than Coheed looks to do. Coheed looks to have a little bit more of a free form narrative expression. And I feel like my work will be possible because of their work, even if they happened at the same time. And the nature of Coheed's work is so beautifully unique, so beautifully one of a kind. It really is understanding what makes, and I'm going to get in so much trouble for this, but I haven't brought it up in 2 years, so nobody can yell at me. It's what makes Charles Bukowski's work still matter. It's why you can still publish. You just get so alone sometimes that it makes sense. And like you can still publish this stupid, horrible poetry book that is basically a Vietnam draft dodger talking about why he likes to fuck women while drinking beer, and you can still publish this collection of poetry because it gave us things as varied as Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas and The Hangover and ultimately Bridesmaids. So I know that, like, even when you point out accurately that my personal journey has not been every page of Coheed's narrative story, I know I'm stronger and better for it, the way that this game is so much better for what the CW verse did for characters like Monitor and Anti-Monitor in exploring Crisis in an exciting new way. I haven't engaged with that version of Crisis, but I know that there are fans that came to it uniquely because of that. And anything that makes those comics sell more, anything that makes those stories live longer, I'm not here to gatekeep. I'm here to say thank you for... Yes, I am stronger than yesterday, Andrew. I am here to share in fandom. Nobody is better than anybody. So just shut the fuck up. And just, if somebody likes it, let them like it. And just calm down already.
Let people like things, always. Also, just, I had to leave this up until everybody saw it. His word bubble.
Oh, to me, my Lex Men?
Yeah.
I have 3 screenshots of this. Every time I see it, my heart skips a beat.
Yeah, I think that's really funny. Can we talk shit about Tom Brevoort now?
It's terrible.
I'll leave you gentlemen.
You know when you have an uncle that just, you're sort of like
that you hate.
Yeah, your cuckle, kunkle, him. Yeah, Tom Brevoort, you are so much more successful than me, so much more famous than me, and so good at what you do. Fuck, I hate
hold
your
on.
opinion.
No, I'm moving off of that one. I let that one go for a while, but then we got into this era of the presidency, and I no longer believe that. I mean, why should I ever have believed this? I was just trying to be nice.
Are you telling me that you think that Jeepers Creepers has the right to step to Freddy?
The Peter Principle.
I'm elevating you to Jeepers Creepers here, so please.
I appreciate it.
You're very
the Peter Principle is in full effect. People graduate to the level of their failure. There are so many reasons how and why you can maybe not be great at your job and not be any good and still get to the top. And I am not saying specifically that is the case with Tom Brevoort. There are plenty of things he has done that have been impressive in comics. I am saying I think I am no longer going to push that narrative so much because I'm just seeing stuff that is looking more like just not good ideas. And I'm not necessarily even talking about the opinions themselves. I'm talking about the choice to voice them so cavalierly every time. So in this case, the subject being brought up is the idea that Spider-Man being married and Spider-Man, being with Mary Jane is maybe a better thing because Ultimate Spider-Man is selling really well. And so somebody brought this up to him at a con, and his response, and it's a long response, but I want to start with this because this is where I immediately get into you're an asshole. His response is, yeah, I've been hearing from a couple yahoos whose idea of a good time is to send us the same letter about MJ and Paul. I'm not sure if that's a typo on the part of whoever published this article or Tom Brevoort said this about MJ and Paul every single day. But here's
her ex-fiance, the guy that everybody thinks is going to be Venom.
Is that what that? Okay. But here's the thing. I think the point of view that you're talking about is simply incorrect. So for one thing, this is a thing that Tom Brevoort likes to do every time he is criticized, and it is to immediately point to no concrete example. And I will say I don't necessarily believe that this is what's happening, but he always points to the most extreme example of people's criticism. And it sucks that we live in a world where that happens. We're going to talk about this on Sunday, but it sucks that there is a world where a drag queen can do something really ugly and very unpleasant and unfair and unkind, and people will go online and say even more ugly, even more unkind, even more hateful things to that person.
You never should have come for Anya.
You never should have come for Anya. But that's all I'm saying. I would never, insult you. I would never say anything mean to you.
I'm like about to call Nancy, and we are going to do some weird menage shit to Arietti for this.
What you said was really ugly, and if I were your friend, I would happily tell you that, but I would still be your friend, and I would never insult you, and I would never get on your social media and say
I would never Fairuza Balk at you.
Yeah. And honestly, most people are like that. Most people, even when they see you doing things they don't like, just sit there and go, I don't like that. Is there a guy who maybe sends them a letter about MJ and Paul? Sure. But there are also a lot of us that just think that Peter and Mary Jane being married makes a lot of narrative sense, and keeping him in Arrested Development would only be funny if he was on Arrested Development.
It would only be funny if the follow-up single was also as good as Tennessee.
And then he starts, Tom Brevoort starts talking about sales of Ultimate Spider-Man and how the difference between that and Amazing Spider-Man they're not very different. So they're similar sales numbers. So, people must like Amazing Spider-Man, and therefore this is fine. I think that's go for it.
Recognize that you can use any number to make your point, but if you actually step outside of yourself for a moment and engage with, I think the word is empathy, you would begin to understand that when you call other people stupid for having feelings, you are just literally a bully.
There's that aspect of it, yeah, and that's a huge part of it is also that he is continuously failing to recognize the emotional aspect of the argument and kind of insulting it and playing it down, but also Spider-Man's the most popular character for Marvel, the same way that Batman is for DC. The flagship Spider-Man book is going to do well no matter what. And this is a complicated business because it's a business. They do want to sell comics, but it is also a creative endeavor. And it's really... is it selling really good comics in the year 2024? Maybe, but I'm going to get to that in a second. But the bigger thing is this is a decades long investment. This is Peter Parker being married could pay dividends, might make sense. And again, we have talked so much about the fact that there are other young Spider-Men, there are other teen Spider-Men, there are Spider-Women, there are non-binary Spider people. There's other people that can fill the role. There's very few Spider people that are, that look like Nico and I, that are, like close to 40, have lives, have jobs.
No Spiders got this.
Well, that's very true. Not even Eddie Brock. even I would like a gay 40-year-old Spider-Man, but sure, whatever. I would just like an adult Spider-Man who is, even if he's struggling, even if he's having a hard time, he is, because again, like, biceps all the way. We're also both very healthy. Like 40 no longer means
I want to throw myself down the stairs when I see this guy's abs. It's just not right.
40 no longer means you're over the hill and can't be athletic and can't. So like Spider-Man can be all the things that he is and be married and be an adult. But him being like vaguely 22 to 30, I can't get it together. Like, sorry, I showed up with food all over my shirt. It's not cute anymore. And if just because Amazing Spider-Man is selling well with that conceit, that doesn't mean that there aren't better ways to do it. And Kevo, I'm going to let you speak before I go into part 2 of this argument.
It reads to me like the continuing inability to understand that millennials are aging and are no longer all 22 years old. And that, it is important to be evolving and giving characters and growing like that. And, I think of the fact that the Golden Girls were 50 and were treated like they were ancient and dying, and 50 doesn't mean the same thing anymore. Most of the MCU, many if not most of the MCU stars have been in their 40s.
Yep.
So yeah, it's wild to not allow a character to expand or to give another character of any degree, even if not to grow Peter.
Yep. And so then it gets pointed out that we have sort of lost all of our comic sales number information that we used to have. So for one thing, just Brevoort straight up might be lying. Two, for the information that we do have, Ultimate Spider-Man does outsell Amazing Spider-Man. It doesn't blow it out of the water, but it does outsell it. That's in floppies. That's in monthly single issues. Ultimate Spider-Man's trade paperbacks are the top selling ones, and Amazing Spider-Man is not on the list. Doesn't make the top 20. There's a lot to be said. There's a lot to be said here. And I just think that Tom Brevoort, every time somebody comes in and says, essentially, kind of, they don't say this, the questions all sort of get to the same point, which is like, are you maybe a little bit over the hill in the way you think? Like, are you maybe an old man yelling at cloud? Have you maybe lost touch? Have you maybe done that thing that your entire generation has done?
Do you not touch grass?
Do you not? Yeah. Thank you. I love it. And his response is always to go, no, I know everything. You guys know nothing. I've been around forever, and therefore all of my opinions are valid. I don't have bad ideas. Here's why I'm right. Here's why you're wrong. Always includes an insulting argument that paints us all as weird little goblins. And not
like,
just
somebody once told me I make a good burger, so if you don't like my barbecue, you're the problem. Leave my backyard. But your backyard is actually Marvel Comics. It's not your backyard, bro.
And I think here's part of the thing too that I feel pretty strongly about when it comes to, they might then clap back, well then you don't need to read Marvel. Well, here's the thing. I don't think that whatever you do is going to so horribly tank Marvel as a brand. We are loyal to these characters, these stories, and these concepts that frankly are going to outlive you one way or another. So that's part of why we do this and why we're, doing what we do, where we give these opinions to be like, we're dissatisfied customers who we feel this consumer product that we are consuming is going to outlast you, whether we leave or not. So you might as well be listening to your consumers.
Yeah, and exactly. And I appreciate that you put it in the context of like us, because again, I feel like we are very passionate and reasonable. This is
yourself, loser. I'm brilliant. I'm kidding.
This is as sort of emotional as I've been about it, and as insulting as I've been to Tom Brevoort. I'm not writing letters to him directly. I'm not doing weird stuff, but it is starting. And like, again, my emotionality isn't about Peter and MJ being married. and whether or not they are, which my opinion is that they should be. And I can see many reasons why that makes sense. And it's also, I can't stress this enough. It's not because I care if two heterosexual fictional characters are married. I basically never care what heterosexual people do. It is the ethos of thinking that says that people can evolve. And because I have experienced times where those two are married and great things come of it, my beloved MC2, that I know that it can work. And also, closer example, Ultimate Spider-Man, the thing
Actually,
that is...
I want to engage for a minute because
go.
Kevo gave me the best example, and it like actually changed the way I felt about things, and it really helped me understand. I'm going to use you as an example. The man that became my brother, the man that became the man that I look up to, is not the man you are today. The man I look up to today is stronger, braver, and smarter than the man that I met several years ago. I love the man that I met several years ago, but I am more in love with the man that I met again this morning when you messaged me to be like, hey, Bubba, how's my little bro? Let me ask you, is the man today the man that your incredible partner, who I think the world of, is that the man that your partner met when you two met?
Right. Yes, not at all.
Are you telling me that there can be a beautiful marriage that existed? How many years ago did you guys meet now?
I mean, we met almost 20 years ago. 20 years ago.
You met 20 years ago. You re-met, 16 years ago? 17 years? Yeah. And you are the incredible people you've evolved into. I don't know. I'm so glad you messaged me what episode you are on, because Kevo evidently sat on a secret. I'm going to get emotional thinking about it. There is a final 5-minute reveal of Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man that is the sort of thing that, like...
Oh, yeah.
There was something that Kevo kept from me for so long that when I found it out earlier in the ep, I'm literally crying on air. Like, it is such a special, unbelievable, it is only for me in this whole world reveal in the final 5 minutes. And, like, you dream of that shit. You dream that this character you thought made you a better writer, better reader. I almost said better person, and I think I mean better person because, like, when you're proud of what you do, you become a stronger person.
Yeah,
This secret fictional character inclusion is literally my I can't even... Kevo was so correct. It is maybe the only thing that can beat Daredevil appearing in Spider-Man for me.
Wow. Okay. I'm stoked about whatever this is.
I literally barely have words for this. And it is
mainline the rest of the show tonight.
And when you see it, you'll be like, oh my God, yeah, okay, you're having an anxiety attack. And the way they did it, it was like it was literally personally written for no one but me. It was like if Batman turned to Jean Grey and said, can I be your Robin? It was that level of like, are you kidding me?
And it won't be something you have to worry about missing as long as you understand what they're saying. It's right there. And they're doing really interesting things with that show.
It is, for my money, and I'm not even being even 1% hyperbolic, it's my favorite animated show in the last 25 years. No, Korra, I guess, could edge it out because Korra is like literally the sound that my heart makes if my heart was a seashell. But like God, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, whether it is the score, it is Nico, it is the subtle way they build up Nico, it is Lonnie's unique, the fact that for people who understand my particular Spider-Man fandom, that Pearl is in this is one of those things. TK, I'll let you bring it up. I kept something a secret from you so hard since TK, we watched it the week before we were in Vegas. That is how long I kept that a secret from you.
I'm impressed.
Those costumes appearing.
Oh, yeah.
I'm impressed.
Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is one of my absolute favorite viewing experiences I can remember. I'm going to watch it 50 more times before season 2, which is likely to premiere before X-Men 98.
Yeah.
So just hold your shit.
Are they calling it X-Men 98?
I feel like if they call it X-Men 97 season 2, 3 years later, they're going to look like people who did not realize that it was no longer cool to say 1999 and 21.
You get stuck though. You called it X-Men 97. You can't change that 70s show. You named it that, and now you're stuck with it being. I think they're stuck. Maybe they'll try, but I think that might also severely damage the phlebotomy that this show had if it's not already too damaged.
Do you not think they could maybe just pivot to X-Men the animated series?
I wish they would. I
wish they
think
would.
all of those things are possible, yes, but I can see where Kevo's theory of how they will act is correct. Even if I can see ways that they ought not to act that way and shouldn't.
But I think pivoting to a general X-Men title and widening its release concept in that regard, though, I think that really would help it. You could do different stories under just a banner of X-Men animated or something and not have to worry as severely about what just happened where they lost their showrunner between seasons.
Yeah.
I mean, I would give the two of you X-Men as an animated series together before I gave it to most people like show running. Kevo's understanding of nuanced, socialized culture and TK's understanding of how that maps onto a mall. Like, you know, I think I'm trying to say that Kevo really understands what it's like to stand in the Starbucks. But TK really understands what it means for that Starbucks to be in the mall. And X-Men 97 was the Starbucks. And you hit so many uniquely, beautifully, carefully cultivated X-Men ideas. And you hit them in ways that are so X-Men. But now you need to understand that that is part of an economic structure that exists in a bigger picture where other people have their unique, isolated economic structures. And that needs to come together. How do you bring together a Kevo with a Russell T Davies with Chris Claremont? You need an editor the strength of an Annie Nesenti, a Wheezy Simonson, a TK. You need somebody who can say, look, your dreams are so big, they're so cool. I'm not here to brevoort you, but I am here to make sure that you do not take Netflix-style crime documentary liberties at any given point.
I'm just really stoked that somebody named Anthony added me as a friend on
your nephew, Anthony.
Anthony.
I
shout out to
asked Kevo that I literally said immediately. I was so hot at all times in his career. Tim Meadows is always unreasonably
such
sexy.
a handsome man.
So sexy.
Maybe he'll be on the new show.
It would not surprise me. But yeah, I mean, you know, to take it all the way back, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man presents such an interesting vision of Peter Parker as a kid, and I love that. But you know, again, Marvel Comics isn't doing that anymore either. Like we're not going that far back because they know that for the comics they have Miles. For the comics they have so many other options for kids, and it's easy to produce. Not easy to produce comics, but it's much more plausible to produce a lot of comics about a lot of other kids. And it really shouldn't be Peter. That would be weird. And I don't know how they know that it's weird that Peter should not be in high school anymore. But they don't know that it's weird that he can't have any kind of cogent, coherent romantic life. I mean, I could even drop the Mary Jane thing, but he doesn't really properly date anybody anyway. He never, having lost Mary Jane, he has not been in a committed relationship where a writer has been able to write for even a year, maybe 2, where this is a person building a life with another, something that you do when you're older. It's just pratfall and pitfall. Will it be Felicia, or will it be Silk, his weird destiny bride, which gets into perverted territory? Will it be some random lady who shows up? And we don't care about any of them. And then the writer's going to change really quickly, and if the writer stays on for a long time and it's a Zeb Wells who doesn't really seem to super care about Peter's romantic life, then we're not doing anything. Chip Zdarsky at least really seemed to care about dealing with Matt and Elektra, and the whole thing was Matt and Elektra building a life together. They were really building a death together, but that's what you do because you're comic characters. I don't need Peter to be building towards a white picket fence, but if it was him and Felicia, the idea that they would create something bigger than the two of them, something greater than the sum of its parts. Wells was on this for a really long time. He could have done that, and instead it's basically entirely pining after Mary Jane with a little bit of Felicia in the mix. They don't do anything. And the real heartbreak of the end of the Zdarsky run and losing all of that progress with Daredevil is, in fact, that Saladin Ahmed has not seemed to care about engaging with it in the same way. He has been very faithful about it, and he's really acknowledged Elektra's pain, which I really love and appreciate. But again, she's single now, floating in the wind. Matt is bordering on incel territory because he's sort of involuntarily a celibate priest. And meanwhile, he was literally married to this woman. And again, they were building something. They were trying to save the world. And that over the course of many, many issues and many storylines. Peter deserves the same thing. It does not have to be with Mary Jane. But what Tom Brevoort is talking about is just let me and my buddies tread water to the degree that we want to, and don't ever question us. And it's ugly and it's stupid, and I am now very comfortable being a little more clear on that. And again, not giving some benefit of the doubt, because I don't feel that it's being given to an audience that loves this stuff not just when they get what they want.
It's so interesting because when you say build towards something, the first thing I thought was build toward what? What would Spider-Man and Black Cat build toward? Well, what would like a Spider-Cat child be like? That's something that is like all up and down DC. You know, if I wasn't in league with you guys, I would probably be a lot less aware of how expansive the DC universe is like that. I wouldn't know that there's a Damian. I wouldn't know that there is the Kent kids probably as well, except for in the last maybe 10 years. But that stuff is so old now versus Marvel, which, you know, you don't want to, but a way you can describe it is almost an unwillingness to grow up. And, you know, that can be frustrating. You're muted. We want to hear you.
It's almost like Marvel wants to stay the cool kids from 1999 without ever having
Yes.
the cool kids from 2020. And the problem is they've promoted so many cool things since then. They're not young Avengers anymore. They can vote. Like, we are at the point where they're not young Avengers. They're reasonable tax-paying Avengers. Where's that title?
Two of them are the leaders of space.
Billy and Teddy are going to start talking about having kids of their own soon. Like, Wanda's going to be a grandma at some point. That's nuts.
Yeah, no, for real. When it's the AARP witch, we have really hit a point.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. End of the day, I have had a great time with this game. I've had a great time with these guys. I have had a great time getting ready for Drag Race tonight. We are 17 minutes from hopping off of this thing and getting ready to watch what is easily one of the warmest post seasons we've had in a really long time. A lot of times girls, when they go home, get very, I don't want to be cool till the reunion. But these girls have all been kind of like, oh my God, can you guys wait till the reunion? It's going to be great. And I'm really here for all these girls having a great time. One of the things that's so exciting about these comics in these games is that we're not just talking about like 1964's idea of what the Scarlet Witch is. We're talking about our idea of what the Scarlet Witch is. My idea of the Scarlet Witch is different than TK's, is different than Kevo's. And like, yes, none of us see our version of Wanda in these games, but that's not the game's fault. That's the magic of getting to share an iterative identity in being excited about these characters.
I mean, the other way you could say it is the game's fault, but it's not something you should be upset about. You let people expose you to cool new versions of the things that you want.
I love that. You know, Kevo, I think you maybe hung in a little bit longer on this episode than you thought you would, and I would love to get your parting shots on this game, on this episode, and where everybody can find you until we literally, like, I mean, it is close to running to get to see that lip sync one more time. So, Kevo, where can everybody find you, and what did you think?
It looked fun, and frankly, any game that you are able to continue maintaining a casual conversation over live on air, at least can't be that frustrating.
Yeah, 100% that.
It just dropped, like you said, so hopefully it picks up. I guess that's an opinion. And you can find me at AwesomeCon next month, where we have a panel on Friday night, April 4th. So check us out in Pride Alley in the content section there. You can find me on Sunday nights doing our drag content, weekly helping out with the comic broadcast, and then whatever else we feel like doing. And you can find me on the socials at Kevo Really. That's KevoReally.
Kevo, thank you so much for promoting our appearances at AwesomeCon, because that's also going to promote our appearances at FlameCon. Now, I know those of you excited to see this team are going to go to AwesomeCon, and you're going to be like, I want to see all three of them. But those of you who are like, it is not the deal without all three of you, are going to be able to check us out in August at FlameCon, where I do believe Triple Sexy will be making its annual appearance this year.
Full action pack.
So Trip Sexy, where can everybody find you online, and what was your favorite part of the game?
Is this my new nickname? I don't mind it.
I mean,
what did you just Telekinesis Jones?
Telekinesis Jones is his legal name, but Trip Sexy is his porn name.
Okay, I like that. So yeah, I will be doing FlameCon this year, and the big changes in my life. I might even be local by the time I get there, which is a potentially very exciting aspect of things. And in the meantime, if you would like to talk to me about this game, my favorite part of which is the base building. Like I said, Fallout Shelter was one that I really got into for a while, but the problem was I actually had never really played any of the Fallout games at the time. So I was missing a lot of the lore, and I didn't really care. And also, like, even if it had the lore, it didn't really have the lore because it was like fake stand-in vault people and not real vault people, and you didn't get to see a lot of the other stuff. This at least is giving me like good storylines and characters I like, and now I'm going to be looking out for Dreamer to show up. And I just got a Black Adam, but I'm gonna need a Hal very soon. I see Bane's in the mix. So like, I'm all kinds of excited to get my characters and keep just pressing buttons in order to generate stuff. But I can have a lot of fun with this just base building. So that is in fact what I'm stoked about. And I can't wait to talk to you all about it. Find me at TK Accidental. We'll talk about this and so many more things. Nico, tell everybody where they can find you. Tell them where they can find this amazing music that we were listening to. And again, I have to say, A, you already know I love it because we talk about it all the time. But like B, I kept being like, because I turned off the music for the game. But I had the music for the game on for a while, and I was like, it's actually really not bad. But I kept being like, oh, maybe I wasn't really listening to the base building music because it's actually banging. And then I realized that it's no way the music for the game. It is just Nico Action Originals that really should be banging video game music. I have a lot of suggestions for where these could go, but so good. So make sure everybody knows where they can find them.
Man, you absolutely know how to make me have to stay seated for a minute. I really would love to score video games. Anybody who knows me knows that my favorite pieces of music all come from Final Fantasy 13 somehow. But I really think that one of the things that when you're talking about great music, you're talking about the way that atmosphere creates over time. I don't think that Dark Legion didn't give me atmosphere, but the game that has had my heart the most enraptured for the last couple of months has been Mystic Mayhem. That Marvel game's look, the atmosphere, the energy, the crisp color cut. Like, there is something a little bit, how can we be MCOC about Dark Legion that I don't dislike, but I am expecting to see MCOC add bases in the next couple of months as a result. And that's not, you don't adapt a skill as well as you interpolate a skill. And if they just add base building, it won't be as cool as if they add their version of base building. And I think this is going to this is going to ask Image to create a game, and Dark Horse. I think this game's simplicity is beautiful and exciting. This game is why I hated Mario Odyssey the most. It tells you hit A now, hit B now, hit Z now, hit X now, Mario game of all time. That's not a Mario game. But it could be a DC mobile game. And so for that, I'm excited. And I feel like you can find me online, thirsting after his thirst traps and getting all crazy about his production over on Blue Sky at Nico Action, NICOACTION. If you want to check out more music like this, guys, don't forget to check it out here on YouTube at Nico Action Music, as well as SoundCloud. That's NICOACTION MUSIC. And I see you guys, and I see that you guys want to like, you want to comment, you want to subscribe. I would also want to do those things, but there are 3 things I would also want to do. Number 1, I would want to stay safe. Spooky, crazy world out there. Make sure you're not paying surge pricing. That's crazy. Only Uber when it's affordable. Number 2, be brave. I know you want to experience the world, but the world is maddening. So choose the moments and be the best you. Be brave. But number 3, I want you to evolve daily. Who you were yesterday, incredible. Who you are today, amazing. But who you are, that tomorrow will be, I don't have a joke, the best you ever. So just go do it. I'll see you tomorrow. Guys, I am like 8 minutes from Drag Race. I am so excited.
Okay.
I was like,
let's go.